Okay, so we're going to go over just like my top mods that I've done for the interior of my car in the Audi TTS. These are just going to be interior mods, so things that you can do around. I think that really changed at least the feeling of the car anyway. The first one is Apple CarPlay. I think it's a must do. It is quite pricey, but there's ways you can do it for much cheaper online. I think it's a must have. I mean, to have like a virtual dashboard with having Waze in front, Spotify. Yes, I know you can still use Bluetooth, but it's not the same really. When you have Waze, Spotify, you have everything on your dashboard. I tried to insert some clips here. It really is a game changer. So I would definitely recommend, especially for Waze. I think having Waze on your screen, able to change the Spotify, and then you can answer, pick up calls. Yes, you can still use the interface if you really want to, but I think Waze is a must-have. I think if I had to just choose one thing that I would do guaranteed if I've got this car again, is get Waze. I think Android Auto or Waze, I think, is a must-have. It'll be interesting to see if the new updates will kind of allow you to customize your screen. The only downside is, don't forget, it's not touch screen, should I say. So you do have to use the controls on the steering wheel and both on the center console to actually navigate through, but I think it's a must-have. Then we're going to go over to the second one now. Is deactivation of the auto stop and start. Now, in all the Audi TTs, they come with a deactivation button to turn off the stop and start, but it's so annoying. Every time you get in the car, you have to press it. Now, I know it's a small thing, but can you imagine every single time you get in the car, you have to keep pressing that button? It kind of gets a bit of a headache, especially if you're stop and starting a lot of the time. I personally like it. Yes, you could argue it improves fuel economy. Do I care about 3 to 5% fuel economy? Personally, I don't. And also, I know the start motors for this are quite good, but I don't want to take a risk of it damaging. So I've used OBD, and I've actually, let me know if you want to see a video on that, but I just used OBD and I basically just deactivate it permanently. That way there's no auto stop and start. It's kind of stupid as well, because when you're sitting in traffic, the car turns off. As it is, the car feels a bit delayed when you hit the accelerator pedal on the lower gears, especially gear 1. It can feel kind of a bit delayed, not as responsive. The last thing you want is a stop and start. And also, you can't turn the wheel if the car stops. It just locks the steering wheel. So I would say probably more of an inconvenience more than a must-have change. But for me, it was irritating me beyond that I wanted. I just can't believe there wasn't a feature where you can just turn off permanently. Why did I have to use OBD? Okay, so the next one is the paddle shift extenders. Yes, you could argue there's probably no need for it, but if you do drive the car, the biggest issue with these paddle shifters is that they're too small. It's only really if you hold your driving hand like on a 9:3, like on a typical angle, then it's fine. But the problem is I normally have my hand, and most people have the hand normally at 2 o'clock or maybe underneath the wheel, especially if you've got long legs and long arms. It's quite more comfortable just holding at the bottom, and I think that's one of the biggest things. You can get them very easily. I made a video on this on my channel, so check that out. One thing I would say with these paddle shift extenders though is make sure that you get the ones that don't have the sticky adhesive on it. You can, but the good thing with this is reversible. In fact, all the mods in these cars are basically reversible, apart from Apple CarPlay, but you don't want to really reverse that, to be honest. But with the shift paddle extenders, the benefit is that if you use an Allen key, I'll show some videos here, you can just take it on and off. It won't leave any glue residue behind. It's probably one of the better mods that you can do, and I definitely would recommend it. I think especially if you drive, and to be honest, it does give a nice hint. I'm going for like a red scheme. I wanted silver originally, but the silver ones were out of stock for months, so I settled with red because silver would have gone a bit more with the look of the car. But I still got the red button on the, I think maybe on the TTS has it on the stop and start, so it does also fit in. The next one I want to go over is the RGB lights. Now, the ambient lighting is normally quite enough just under the footwell and just around the car. I think it's actually really nice and classy. But what I've done is I put RGB lights in. I just got the RGB IC. I made a video on this as well, but this one is kind of underneath the seats facing outwards. Again, I can take it off whenever I want. I don't put it on any like rave colors or anything specific like that. I just have it as a nice kind of like fading, very slow, very light and very dim. Just gives it the cabin a bit of an extra nice feel. Personally speaking, I like RGB, but it's a nice fading of colors. I really like it. And also, if you're asking me, the door lights is something I kind of want to add on as well. There's two things I've done: the door lights, and then I've done basically the door handle locks. You can get them on eBay. It's only a cheap mod, but so we had to move. The weather was just too hot. But anyway, like I was saying, those are probably the best 5 interior mods that you can do. The CarPlay being first, shift paddle extenders, the RGB lights, the auto stop and start, deactivating that. And then, for example, I also did the puddle lights as well. I forgot to mention that. Did the puddle lights. It looks pretty cool. I think it's kind of weird because some of the Audi cars same year have it, but some of them don't. Which I don't understand why they're not standard in all of them. It doesn't make any sense. But yeah, that's another one you can add as well. Definitely buy the OEM ones or buy like a very high quality ones. Don't buy like the low quality ones because they don't really produce that sharp image. That's one thing I wanted to mention. But that is basically it. Hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching. Take it easy. Catch you next time.